This is verse 22 of the 14th chapter, Gospel of Matthew. This is the aftermath of the feeding of the 5,000. Jesus having fed these people to their satisfaction, and all of the fragments having been gathered up. Matthew tells us kai, the connective eutheos or euthus, either one, synonymous terms, means immediately. So as this is all wrapping up, immediately, Matthew tells us enakasen. This is from anakadzo. The ana means up. The kadzo part of that actually derives from a Greek word for arm. And we might say idiomatically, it's strong-armed would be the idea. It's really a fairly forceful word. Compelled is the way it's usually rendered into English. So he compelled or strong-armed or forced. Immediately he forced tous mathetas, the disciples, which implies it was somewhat against their will. John tells us that these people who had just been fed by Jesus wanted to make him king by force, and it may very well be that the disciples were swept up into a similar sentiment, and Jesus wants to disabuse them of that expectation, and so that may be why somewhat forceful language is used here. So immediately he compelled the disciples. Embani, this is an aorist infinitive from embino, to enter in or to go in. So to enter in, infinitive ace preposition with the accusative toploion, into the boat. Don't know what size it was. It was probably modest enough, but certainly sufficient to handle the disciples who were there. So he compelled them to get into the boat, and proagain from proago. Ago means to lead, pro to lead before, taking the accusative as the direct object, him. So go before him, to sally forth ahead of him would be the idea. Ace preposition with the accusative tone, peron, into the other side is the idea. Peron is actually an indeclinable adverb, used idiomatically here. To go to the other side is the notion. Heos, while, takes the genitive. We don't really have a good way to translate this. While he, it's probably the best way to bring it over. Otherwise we don't have decent grammar going on. But the point of this is an apollusse, from apollume, means to dismiss. This is the third person singular aorist active subjunctive. So while he dismisses, and tous oklus, dismisses the crowds. So he wants the disciples out of the situation. Of course, later we're going to have Jesus walking to them on the water, but right now he just wants to basically dismiss them. And then he's going to turn around and dismiss the crowds. They've had plenty to eat. Now they have sufficient strength to get to wherever their destinations may be. And so that's the idea.